Take my hand.
I don't know the song well enough to sing it.
Yeah.
It's actually Barbara Ann, right?
Yeah.
But you sing it as Baba Ran if you've seen the movie Surf Ninjas.
I have seen the movie Surf Ninjas.
Man, what a world.
I wanted to be that kid with the Game Gear who could kick the crap out of people through his Game Gear.
That was the movie that anytime we went to the video store, that's what I rented. That was it.
Oh, yep.
Surf Ninjas.
Truly, welcome to 3Play. Three friends talking about video games, and we're just one short of a good time, but not anymore.
Hello and welcome to the 3Play podcast. I'm Brian, also known as Eclecticlish.
I am Jordan, aka Buckeye734.
I'm Billy, also known as that guy that nobody likes.
Or Sunday School Billy.
Yeah, that's fine too.
I think you have 2 votes on the least like podcasts on a 3-person podcaster. That is
wasn't I the only? I was the only choice, wasn't I?
And I voted twice.
Well, I mean, that's beside the point.
Well, that makes me feel better. That means that strangers or people we know aren't voting for me.
That's true.
So people definitely dislike me the most, but not enough to take a survey where we definitely collect your information and sell it to advertisers in order to make pennies.
That's how 3Play makes its money, right?
Oh, yeah.
What have you guys bought with your profits so far?
Enough PLA to print 1/10 of a mini figure.
I'm just hoarding it.
Oh, I got one of those sticky hands that you get out of the coin thing at the grocery stores. It was great.
I got a Tootsie Roll from Chuck E. Cheese.
But speaking of advertisements and revenue, this is something we need to brag about. One, we have a listener that we want to give a shout out to.
Yeah.
Jonathan Rink.
Jonathan Rink.
If you're out there playing horror games on VR by yourself, stop it. It's creepy.
Or keep doing it if he enjoys it.
Yeah, if you enjoy it, that's great. And 2, last we checked, I mean, by the time this video releases, we've moved up. But last we checked, we were the 13th ranked podcast for leisure and games in Hong Kong. Now, I don't
believe this is true.
Now, I don't know who's listening in Hong Kong. Maybe there are only 13 leisure and games podcasts in Hong Kong. But if you're listening, we see you and we hear you.
We don't understand a word you're saying.
Oh my gosh. We're here for you, and we send us a message, and we'll talk about something you want us to talk about. Jordan, what's our intro game while Brian looks up that data?
That's great. So we played this game before. We are going to be playing main menu themes for you guys. We're going to play 5 seconds of a main menu theme, and you guys have to come up with the game that main menu theme is from. I have ordered these from what I think is easiest to hardest. So 1 should be pretty much a gimme, and then 5 should be the one that's a little bit tougher to get. So we'll play 5 seconds. You guys got to come up with the game. Any questions?
Okay. These are all like, when you chose these, even number 5, it was like, this is possible.
It's a game you know. Like, okay. I'm not going to say the title of the game, and you're going to be like, well, I've never heard of
Final Fantasy 7.5 Crystal Remix.
I make no promises on whether or not there are JRPGs in this. Or not,
I have bad news, gentlemen. Since March 8th in Hong Kong for leisure games at 13. Yeah. Then on the 9th we dropped to 29th.
Okay.
And then on the 10th we dropped to 41st. And then on the 11th we dropped to 55th. And then on the 12th, we've dropped to 57th. So
no. I'm taking this data the opposite way. We were actually 13th, and there were more than 13 like podcasts in the category. There were like 50. So like there was a day where we were listened to in Hong Kong more than other podcasts. That is like honestly, that's really encouraging.
Yeah.
So truly, if you are listening from Hong Kong, send us a message and we will talk about what you want us to talk about. I promise.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Actually, let me go to Google Translate and I'll type out a message that I can then play on here saying to you that we want you to tell us what you want to talk about.
Wait, why do you have to do that?
Because I don't
they
speak.
Listening? Then why are they watching us if they don't understand?
That's fair. Maybe it's the one guy who misclicked, you know? And
well, that could be, right? Like, oh, one person, like, what is this? But right, like, obviously none of us speak. Oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. What language is spoken in Hong Kong?
Chinese?
Is it Mandarin? Is it Mandarin?
Of some sort? I don't know.
Yeah, of some sort.
Hong Kongese.
So we're gonna play 5 seconds of a main menu theme, and you guys have to guess the game. These are going in order from easiest difficulty to hardest difficulty. Each game is recognizable. You should know the game. Any questions?
One question. What language do they speak in Hong Kong?
Answer that. Oh my.
No, Jordan, no questions. English and Chinese are the two official languages.
Oh, English.
All right, great.
So 13th in Hong Kong, where they speak English and can readily understand what we are saying. That's pretty good, guys.
I know we got to get to intro games, but I'm just like imagining a future where we are minor celebrities in Hong Kong.
This does bring up an interesting point. Is this the video format that we're getting these?
This is podcast.
It's the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I truly think the podcast format, it will be, I feel like it's just easier to, right? You're driving to work, turn on the podcast.
Sure.
I think that will be a higher engagement until we become minor celebrities in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So here comes main menu theme number 1. Right here. I assume you guys got that one, and I assume if you're listening to the podcast, you also got that one. And if not, don't feel bad, but also kind of feel bad. Okay, here comes main menu theme number 2. Here it is. I'm not listening to it with you guys this time, so I love just seeing the vibing happen.
That brings back so many memories from 01. Jordan.
That's interesting that you can place that from place like the place you played it in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, it brings back people from 01.
There's
whom I'm sure you miss.
There's definitely one I can think of that I miss.
Do we need to give a shout out here?
Nope.
Nah, they're not listening.
Right. Shout out to Derek Gabler. Thank you for letting me play that game in your room on 01.
All right, main menu theme number 3. Here it comes.
Yep. That was so close to like not connecting.
Yeah, it's so close to like, wait, I definitely know what this is. I think I actually like looking back over my set list here. I think I went easy on you guys, but I think
definitely.
I think
so
number
far,
5. Yeah. I think number 5 is going to be tough. So
okay.
All right, here comes main menu theme number 4. Oh, interesting.
I'm going to listen to that again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that Dark Souls 2?
This is one that I think a lot of people will instantly recognize.
Really?
All right. And here we go. Main menu theme, number 5. Good luck.
Got it.
Wow. Confident. Confident.
Sure.
Right. I thought when I grabbed this one, I thought there's no way.
Now I'm second guessing. I think I have it.
There's two it could be, but one that it definitely sounds like.
Oh, interesting. This is the most confident I think you guys have ever been on these. I think
Yeah,
The first three are
three in the bag. Yep.
first three in the bag. All right, well, let's
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you want another second to think about number 5, or you want to...
No, because, like, I have a guess.
Okay. All right.
It's that or not.
All right, Main Menu Theme 1 sounded like this. All right, you guys are pretty confident. Go ahead.
Sonic.
It's Sonic.
Sonic
The Hedgehog.
the Hedgehog. Now, interestingly, did you guys ever use the main menu code to get to levels?
Yeah.
On this, I used to remember that code because I would sing a song to the tune of that main menu.
Oh.
Because it was like,
Can you sing it for us?
Da, 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 up, down, left, over, A and start together. I would sing that to myself.
That's so great.
And I would always just remember it. So
That's fantastic.
it's still in the brain, still in the old noggin up here.
It's still, I mean, that's Sonic 2, right?
No, that is Sonic that's the
Oh,
original
that's
Sonic
Sonic
the
1.
Hedgehog. Okay. Loser. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I know it's Sonic. It's just I played Sonic 2 the most growing up. Like, that was the Sonic game that I played growing up.
Sure. All right, main menu theme number 2. It sounded like this. All right. I know Billy knows this one. Brean, you seem pretty confident too, though.
It's Smash Bros. And I'm trying to remember which one.
Which Smash Bros?
It had this like name, this like
Here's a
word
hint.
tacked onto it, and I cannot remember what that word was.
Here's a hint. This was the Smash Bros. Game where the only thing worthwhile from it was the music.
That's not true.
That is totally true.
It is not true.
This is the worst Smash Bros.
Smash
game by
Bros. U?
far. No.
No.
It's Brawl.
It's
Brawl.
from the Wii, yes. This is the one where Solid Snake was originally in it, right?
Yeah, so like this brought us really good characters.
Yes, that
But in terms of like that's it. Like
this,
that and the music.
I disagree with you because I think Brawl is where Smash Bros. Hype started, right? Because
I
when
agree.
they started announcing characters for Brawl, it was like,
Sure.
so and so is confirmed. Everyone is confirmed for Brawl, right?
Sure.
Like,
yes.
So you're
But
right.
it's a bad game.
Compared to like, especially coming from Melee, right? It's Melee to
yeah.
Brawl, where it's like this
Oh my god.
giant difference.
Like Melee is fast and it's like tight and sharp, and Brawl is just like loopy and slow and like right. There's just a randomized tripping mechanic in the game, in a fighting game. Like what? You're just like, oh, I've got the edge of my opponent, and then my character just randomly trips.
Get
don't
good.
know. I mean, like,
Get good.
don't know.
All right. Main menu theme 3 sounded like this. All right, and main menu theme 3.
I just wanted to keep going. It's Super Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart. Yes, that one's so fun. I love the opening of that.
It really is.
I can hear my selections going, picking Yoshi, and like getting ready to go.
Okay. Like, what's going on with the world that everybody chooses Yoshi? At least in that game. Like, Yoshi, like, was my go-to growing up. It's my buddy Jeff DeBone, if you're listening. I know that's who you pick. Why does everybody pick Yoshi?
I think we all unintentionally found out that Yoshi, those two characters, Yoshi and Toad, I think, both of them have the highest acceleration and the lowest top speed, which is actually the best in the game.
Okay.
At least if you're a kid bumping into things, you need a lot more acceleration than top speed.
Yep, that's fair.
Jordan, who'd you pick in Super Mario Kart?
I'm having a hard time remembering who the choices were just because I played Double Dash so much. I always pick Toad and Toadette and Double Dash. I don't remember if Toad is actually playable in the original Super Mario Kart.
I think he is.
I think he is.
I know Donkey Kong
it's-
is, Bowser is.
Yeah. Mario, Luigi,
Peach.
Yoshi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Solid Snake.
Solid Snake, Ice Climbers.
Yeah. I don't know who else.
All right. Imagine Mario Kart was like that. Like, here's the characters you can play as in Mario Kart. I don't think it would have the same effect. Okay. Main menu theme number 4 sounded like this.
have no idea.
All right, let me hear your guess. Give me your best guess.
Yeah, so my guess, do you remember that game N, where you play as like a ninja and you like jump around the walls, collect the little dots and stuff? That's all I can think of when I hear this game.
All right,
I have no idea.
Brian's guess is N. Billy, what's your guess? Take a guess. Anyway.
I don't know. Dig Dug?
Okay, so this, I think, is easily recognizable. I think a lot of people who are listening to this podcast immediately probably heard this and knew what it was, but mostly because this song is a slowed down version of a song that appears later in the game. And this is the main menu for Undertale. And this is, I believe the main menu theme is Hopes and Dreams. And one of the big boss fights in the game has a like faster version of that. And if you're at all like me, you have the Undertale soundtrack on your Spotify and play it constantly. So, okay. And last but not least, main menu theme 5 sounded like this. All right.
I think I have it. Like, it's the thing is like this is a song that's in my brain for sure. So like if my guess is wrong and then you tell me what it is, I'll be like, oh yeah, of course.
All right, go ahead.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
That's what I was gonna guess. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
It is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. It's the first one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
okay,
so it is Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but it is the first one. Yes.
That's great.
Hey,
we split and got it right. That's great.
You guys got that. That's excellent.
I can't believe that was still in my brain.
Awesome.
I don't think if I heard that I would know immediately. I mean, it does definitely have like a skaterish vibe to it,
yes,
right?
It does. And I did even think that of like, this isn't like SSX tricky, but like it's getting there, and I was like, it's got to be like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
That's great. Good choices.
There you go. Hopefully you did well at home.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know if you could do better than Brian and Billy did this week, actually.
Whether home is wherever Jonathan Rink or Derek Gabler are, or those listeners in Hong Kong. Keep on keeping on.
Anyway, this is a fantastic minigame, Jordan. Thank you. Speaking of minigames,
that was a great transition right there.
Thank you. I worked hard on it for about 5 seconds. We're going to talk about minigames today. What makes a minigame? What are good ones? What are bad ones? What is podcasting? How do I talk? Those are all things that we're going to discover today.
Excellent. I'm excited.
What, Billy, you had some questions for us?
So we were 13th for a day. And then we went down to, like, what did we bottom out at a few days later?
We're
like
at
54th or something? 57 right now.
Wait,
so,
57th.
Other than giving shout outs and sort of talking about, like, what can we do to get higher than 13th?
That's a great question.
Probably just keep talking about it more. That's probably what'll get us there. Let's just keep talking about it. We're gonna rock it right up to number 1.
Okay,
Hong Kong loves hearing about podcasts talk about how popular that podcast is in Hong Kong.
Welcome to 3Play, where we're just trying to get to 3rd in Hong Kong. That's why we're called 3Play.
Okay, listen. I can ask a minigame question that's like a big question, like sort of a broad, or like a very specific question. Like, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with specific.
Oh, specific.
You just both said the opposite thing, and now I don't know what to do.
Just ask both of them at the same time.
Or just ask one of them.
Okay, how about this? I'll ask the specific question, but you're limited to yes or no answer.
Okay.
And then we'll go to broad.
Okay.
Do you enjoy when a game has the minigame that is fishing?
Yes.
Are you like excited about a fishing minigame?
Oh, this is a very hard question.
Some games don't do it right.
I think
so we're going to talk about that.
I think as a kid, yes. As a kid, I was always excited for the fishing minigame. I think nowadays, not so much. I'm not as excited anymore.
Yeah, like obviously context matters, but I'm playing a game. I don't want to fish. I don't want to do something that I could just go out and do. I want to like kill gods. I don't want to catch a fish in a pond.
So Brian, being the one who does enjoy the fishing minigame, what strikes the chord with you there, Brian?
It's the same thing as like Pokemon. Got to catch them all, collecting them.
So your goal is to collect all of the different fish in the fishing minigames.
Yeah, and that's usually like the goal. You have to catch this one particular type of fish, or you have to catch the biggest, or
so do you enjoy when they have like the weight and the centimeter measurements, and you caught the new record? What's up?
Yeah. There was this game growing up called Pro Bass Challenge, where that was like when you went to the main menu, that's what came up.
But I will say though, that's the whole game though. That's not a mini game.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like
you like
that was enjoyable as well. So like those types of games I like. So having that as a mini game, great.
Imagine living in an age like we did growing up, where your whole game could just be the mini game that's in other games.
They still have fishing games today.
They do, and it's ridiculous.
Now, man, I have played fishing games in VR, and that is very fun. I will tell you.
Sure, but then just go fish.
But
he doesn't want to touch the fish.
Like, yeah, like well, I mean, that's not touch them, but like, if I go actual fishing, I don't like eating fish, but I enjoy the experience of fishing. This is like a perfect setup for me.
No, just go fish. Like games, I don't want a game where I go like get in the car and drive 18 minutes to like a public school where then I just teach English to people who are like on their phones. Like I don't want that. I don't want a game that's just like you get to fish when I could just get my canoe and like go fish. And like part of it is just like, well, I don't get in my canoe to go fish. Like I don't.
I think it's just you don't like fishing.
That's true. I don't like fishing. But so let's talk about best fishing mini games, because there are good versions of bad versions of it.
Sure.
I think Ocarina of Time has a really good fishing mini game. Like it's old and I think it's fun.
Speedrunners hate it.
Why?
Because you like
for one of the things you need.
It's like 100% speedrunners have to get one of the items for catching like a big monster fish, right?
Oh well, sorry guys, sorry speedrunner 100%ers Ocarina of Time. Like no, it's fun. It's you toss your rod in. You
notice how Billy has pulled a complete 180 right now. He's gone from like fishing mini games suck to
they do
Ocarina of Time. However,
yes. The reason it's good is because it's super simple. Like it doesn't give you like tons of instructions. You can do like two things. It's like, oh, I caught a fish. Like, great. Now I'm going to go do something else. I feel like fishing mini games are at their worst when they're super tedious and like over bloated with rules.
So you like it because you can go do something else.
Yeah, because I can like get away from it quickly. It's like, oh, I can catch a fish. Like, all right, I caught a fish.
Well, okay, but there's something to that, right? Is that what makes a minigame good? Like the ability to pop in and out of a minigame, like not just fishing minigames, right? But a lot of minigames in general, like do you want to be tied to doing this activity for a long stretch of time, right?
Sure.
That's true.
And like, I'm not a 100% Ocarina of Time speedrunner, so like I don't need to, right? Like that's an optional minigame. And I think in most cases, minigames should be optional.
Was that your big question or was that the small question?
That was the specific question. It just kind of blew up into a big rant against
fishing. Rant against fishing.
Digital or otherwise.
But I think that does point to a mini game to be good. I do think has to not be like forced by the plot of the game.
What do you mean by that?
I was going to ask if you have like an example of that done poorly.
Like fencing in Final Fantasy IX.
You don't.
Let me know when you guys are done.
You don't like the fencing in Final Fantasy IX?
I I don't like the fact that it is nearly impossible to perfect it.
Okay, that's fair. To
and-
get Queen Brahne to
Yeah,
finally approve,
and to
right?
give you that one item that you really want.
Okay, but that's not the game itself, right? That's the reward for the game. It's just
Sure.
We're talking about JRPG. I'm out of here.
Billy?
Well, this is welcome to 2Play.
Okay. He's back.
You guys done?
No. We just wanted to see
So
your beautiful face.
Brian's problem with this minigame, because I love that minigame. I, as a kid, would play that minigame, and it asked me, do you want to do that again? I didn't even care about upgrading my score. I just wanted to do it again. But also, that's also like pre-quick time event, like, prevalence, right?
Sure.
So,
Sure.
like, I think quick time events at one time I considered to be a really cool minigame, right? But I think they can be overdone and overblown at this point, right? And done poorly. So, yeah, it just surprises me so much that you dislike that minigame.
I think what it is it's more that my brother and I tried to play through a low level percentage on Final Fantasy IX, and one of the things you have to do is you have to get that item, and we spent hours trying to get the perfect score fencing, and it was terrible.
What is? I've only seen this as a meme where it's like 99 out of 100 nobles were impressed. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that is the one.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So that, and what do you do in this?
It's just like you're like fencing, but it's like a play, right? So
is it
like
quick time event?
Yeah, because the other character gives you like a cue, and you're either supposed to like jump or like swing your sword or like do one of these things, right? And the better you do it, and the like quicker you are to respond, the more nobles are impressed, right? But the queen, the queen is stubborn.
They're only impressed if you get it exactly right. And the other thing that makes it frustrating is we looked it up afterwards, and there's something about if you're too fast,
really?
It also like punishes you. And it's not necessarily intended to do that. It's just like, I mean, this is a quick time event before there were quick time events.
Sure.
And
I would like to point out the Switch version I think did make it easier.
Okay.
Because I got 100 out of 100 on the Switch version. So just saying.
You're just bragging.
Yeah.
You're just finding an excuse to brag.
We are 13th in Hong Kong, so
We're
now 57th in Hong Kong.
Oh my gosh, it's embarrassing.
57.
There's probably only 57 podcasts for leisure and games in Hong Kong.
Well, I thought there were only 13, so we're doing great as far as I'm concerned.
So just like to get away from JRPGs as much as possible, what are great non-JRPG minigames that you guys have played, or like miserable ones?
Well, and so it's interesting because Brian brings up the point that like he doesn't like minigames that are like railroaded by the plot, right? I tend to think the best minigames are the ones that let you explore the plot or explore the world like better, right? Yeah. And so when we started thinking about like, wait, what games have the best minigames? Immediately, Rockstar came to my head. Because like I think about like Red Dead Redemption and like wandering through the town, and it's like, oh, there's a guy over there I could play poker with, or oh, hey, there's some guys throwing horseshoes over there, right? The mini games that they build into that game make the world feel more alive, right? And it's not that any of those mini games themselves are like super cool or like super fun, right? They're pretty basic and they're fun, but it's a way for Rockstar to make you think, hey, this world we've created is alive, right? And I think Grand Theft Auto 4, I think it was, right, with the cousin who's like, hey cousin, you want to go bowling, right? Like I think Rockstar is just very good at creating these mundane, like real life things, right, and making them into these like fun little activities you can do to kind of break up your gameplay cycle and also flesh out the world. So Those are the ones that immediately popped in my head when I think of like best mini games, the ones that help you like realize the story. So
Sure.
It's interesting to me that Brean might be on the opposite side of that.
Well, I'm not necessarily. To go back to JRPGs for a little bit, the jump roping game in
Final Fantasy IX
is fantastic.
No, it isn't.
I really liked that one. I think it was just because like I was really good at it and all my brothers sucked at it. So that was a bragging rights thing.
How about the lightning dodging in Final Fantasy X? I just want to break.
I don't think
I just want to break Billy.
But I will say, what's the card game called? Shoot,
Gwent from The Witcher 3.
No,
is a really
that is
lovely.
Yeah, I did mean to bring up Gwent at some point because it is really cool that kind of brought on a life of its own and is its own game now. But
Triple Triad.
Triple Triad, yes. So similar, where you in Red Dead Redemption you could go up to whoever and challenge them to poker or blackjack or whatever. You could do the same thing in Final Fantasy IX, where you walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, want to play some Triple Triad?" And then you could try and beat them and steal their cards. And it was fun.
Now, Billy, you brought up Gwent, right? And I think Gwent fits into my example, right? Gwent is and Gwent is a great mini game. It's a like well thought out card game that also teaches you about the world that you're in, right? And it's like, here's some of these monsters, right? You may not have seen all of these yet, but here's things that are in this world, right?
Yep. I think Mario Odyssey also does mini games super well. A couple that come to mind in like the city level, New Donk City. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That's so funny. There's, I mean, just jumping rope, right? Like just this super basic Mario, like, right? Like Mario is jumping. He's literally Jump Man. So like getting to jump rope is fun. And right, that game's all about collecting stars, but like you definitely don't need to do a lot of these mini games to progress the story. Like you can just earn them through the sort of the story.
Does that count as a mini game?
I think so.
I have a hard like
a star.
Yeah, you get a star.
And there's a leaderboard. All the little like races. I really like all the little Koopa races. Like those are fun. Because right, you just get to like, hey, start here, get to here, and like you can get there however the heck you want. It's like that's fun, right? Like I feel like Nintendo does mini games generally pretty well.
I mean, I guess this gets into the discussion of like what makes a minigame, right? Because to me, Mario Odyssey is so varied in how you get every star that
it's sort of like all minigames.
Yeah, almost, right? It's like the whole, like you run over here, do this thing, run over here, do this thing, right? And so to me, like a minigame is almost there to like break up your gameplay cycle a little bit, right? Kind of like break up the
you're doing something different.
And so I don't know, to me, like I feel like everything I'm doing in Mario Odyssey is so different that
it's all minigames.
I guess the thing that makes them seem like minigames is that they occur at multiple places, right? Like the little races you're talking about, right? There's a couple of them scattered throughout each level or something.
Well, and your mode of play clearly changes for those, I feel like, too. Like you're not playing the same game exactly. But,
I don't know. So, what is your guys' definition of a minigame then?
Let me bring up another example and see if this is the same type of thing or if this is something completely different.
Use a Final Fantasy game, I'm going to lose it.
No, I will not be using a Final Fantasy game, promise.
I think one of our shorts pretty soon is going to be Billy's top 5 JRPGs.
Sure, yes. I have JRPGs that I like.
Go ahead.
So
hold on. Final Fantasy games. It feels like The Office going past season 4.
No.
That's just like, what are you doing? Like, do something different, Square Enix. And I don't mean release a new friggin' Kingdom Hearts 3.79 memory dream nightmare fight. I mean, like, do something new. Like, when was the last time Square Enix was like, yeah, we're going to do something not Final Fantasy.
Dude, I
get the Final.
They do a lot of
Square.
not Final Fantasy.
they do
stuff.
so much. They make
NieR
Hitman.
Automata.
Sure. Yes.
Hitman.
They do Hitman.
Yes.
How many Hitmans are there now?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you can't fault them for once something sells, them making more, right?
That's fine.
I mean, it's
right.
how many Legend of Zeldas are there? Nintendo, do something different.
You shut your mouth.
How many Marios?
Brian,
Mario Odyssey 17.5.
Dream Drop.
Dream Battle.
Dream Drop.
Cappy's Great Adventure.
Sorry, Brian, you were talking about JRPGs.
I think we should just keep fighting. All right,
that's our episode for today.
I
didn't know Minigames was going to be our most heated episode.
No, I still think it was when we did whatever it was.
The hot takes.
Not hot takes.
Yeah.
I was going to say hot topics.
Yeah.
But that's
Go ahead, Brian.
No,
we've
that
interrupted
was
you
definitely
enough.
my bad too. I apologize to everyone. Depending on when this episode comes out, I really was not trying to offend everyone.
Task failed successfully.
Anyway, so things like lockpicking in Skyrim or hacking in like BioShock or
Yes.
Are those mini games, or is that like kind of a I don't know what to call that other than a mini game, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a
hacking in BioShock is definitely a mini game, and it's one of the worst mini games.
It's like
It is
tubes.
the top number one on my list of worst mini games. It's terrible.
What's number 2, just so I can have some like reference?
And my number 2 is also like, I'm not sure if this technically counts as a mini game, but it's jet skiing in Uncharted.
Jet skiing and I don't really remember.
Oh, where you have
I mean,
there are mines all over the place, and the jet ski handles terribly.
Yeah, that means that at worst it was forgettable for me.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so frustrating. Anyway, yeah, I think lockpicking in Skyrim, I think that experience is so short. You know what I mean? It definitely is
a mini game. It's like a mini task.
Yeah, I would count it as a mini game. It's a game. It's like a little mini game within a game. But when you say those two, like the lockpicking, I have fond memories of. Hacking in BioShock, I'm like, ugh, like that's horrible.
Yeah, and like they're definitely different games. They do it in different ways. I'm just thinking through like, okay, these are two ways that games have hidden things behind a challenge of some sort that isn't within the normal gameplay loop.
Right, exactly. And so like I think BioShock, right, this example of hacking, right, it's there because I think BioShock actually needs a little bit of breaking up of its gameplay cycle. I think BioShock Infinite didn't really have that, and I think BioShock Infinite suffers from that a little bit because I just feel like I'm just killing everything and I'm a mass
it's just
murderer.
kind of the same.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have a cool lady that throws you ammo every now and then.
Yeah, but BioShock the original, like it has this minigame that kind of breaks that up, which is a good thing. It's just the minigame itself, like you're not hacking, you're not hacking anything. You're taking this liquid from a tube. Like, how am I hacking this machine? Like, it makes no sense, and it's tedious.
Okay, so best mini games then. So what are good ones? Because I mean, I feel like we could just I could list at the top of my list for worst mini games is just the game A Way Out.
The whole game. The whole game.
I know you just posted the short of that, but like that whole game is just like this sort of like narrative game. But then like
that's
everything is like there's just every level there's like 30 mini games you can do. I think we missed a ton of them.
Yeah, probably.
But it's just like all mini games.
Yeah, but then at the end they give you a gun.
That's true. Then you shoot the one person you care about.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario Party, right? Like, you can't talk about mini games without talking about the Mario. I mean,
you can't. But how can I call Mario Party mini games when that's literally the whole game?
Right,
That's literally.
Yes. Is it okay for us to say that minigames need to be like sort of tied to the?
No, and I don't think they
structure?
need to, right? And I think Mario Party is a good example of that in that it breaks up just you playing a board game, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think a minigame should do. A minigame should disrupt repetitiveness in some way or another. Or the other option is make it completely optional, like Red Dead Redemption, right? These things are out of the way that you can go and explore if you'd like to, right?
I think for me, one of the ones that I really like, and I'm blanking on the name of the game now, which is not
NieR
awesome.
Automata.
Yeah, I mean, you can go fishing
hacking.
in that. Hacking in that is also very good. I do like
FIFA.
hacking in NieR Automata.
I have not done any fishing in that. What a waste of time. I can fly.
That's
in the
true.
air and
That is absolutely true.
Use my katana to like slice up murderous robots. Why would I go to a puddle and like
It's literally puddles too. It's not like it's just like why am I doing this?
Yeah, like no, my character is powerful and strong and has a sword. Like I'm not doing that. Sorry, I literally have not fished in that game. But the hacking
is very fun.
Super fun.
Yeah,
I don't remember what maybe I haven't gotten to the hacking yet.
You do it a little bit in the beginning and a lot the second playthrough.
Okay, I don't remember.
Hang on a second. I gotta find this game just a second.
Oh, speaking of NieR Automata, I'm gonna come out and say this. This may be very unpopular, but I haven't played through all of NieR Automata. When you're in the ship and you're fighting in the like the bullet battles, I hate them.
Yeah,
I hate them. I hate it.
Do you not typically enjoy what are those games called?
Gradius?
Yeah, like that type of game.
I mean, I like Star Fox. I just not that fun to me. I don't know if that counts as a mini game.
I would kind of count those as
those sequences.
Yeah.
Well, like we don't really have language for this sort of like a sequence, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a genre sort of flipping.
There is a name for
true.
That type of game, but yeah, it does flip genres.
It's a bullet hell, right? I mean, bullet hell's probably like the closest.
Yeah, that's
sort of modern term.
So the game I was thinking of was Sanctum 2, which is like a tower defense game. I don't know if you've ever played this game, but it's first-person shooter. So your character has like guns and but then you can drop towers and build walls and put up all that stuff. But within that game, there are like these buildings and stuff near where the actual fighting map is, and you can go and explore them. And sometimes there's like weapons lying around that you can pick up and use, and cool little hidden things and little plot, enhancing dialogue or things you can read. But in one of the levels, there's an arcade machine that you can go and play a full arcade game on.
I feel like game developers are doing that a little bit more. Or like I've played games like that where it's like, oh, you can actually walk up and play this cabinet arcade game.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
That's not. Yeah, several games have done. The first one that comes to mind is Celeste, because in Celeste, there's an entire another version of Celeste within Celeste. And then if you guys ever played, I think it's called New Pac-Man Adventures.
No, I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
There's a game for this.
What
like,
are you've talked about Final Fantasy, and you've made me listen, and I've had to listen to that, and now you're bringing up a game.
Just let me
called New Pac-Man Adventures. All of the wonderful art of games in the world. And we're going to spend time listening to you talk about New Pac-Man Adventures.
In New Pac-Man Adventures, you didn't control Pac-Man. Pac-Man walked around, and you told him which direction to go. But sometimes Pac-Man would get pissed off and just be like, no, I'm not listening to you. And he would just keep walking in a certain direction. But there's an arcade in New Pac-Man Adventures that you can make Pac-Man go into, and you can play Pac-Man. The original Pac-Man.
What New Pac-Man Adventures was like a point and click thing?
It's kind of, yeah, there's like a slingshot. You basically just control this slingshot and where you aim the slingshot on the screen. So like he's like walking and like there might be like an item in a tree that you want him to get, and so you like slingshot the item in the tree and it falls in front of him and he goes, oh, there's this thing here. Yeah. This was a very fun game from my childhood that I it's like pretty hard. It's like a pretty hard game for a 10-year-old.
The New Adventures?
I mean,
New Adventures of Pac-Man? Is that what it's called?
I see,
Pac-Man 2?
Yeah. Okay, he just milked a cow.
Yep. You milk a cow, and then he goes, dances with the milk once he gets it.
Miss Pac-Man is there. They have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
He pet a
Slow
dog.
down, Pac baby. Oh, what is... there's like a villain?
Yeah. There's like a evil witch who like is in charge of like the ghosts. She tells the ghost to go disrupt Pac-Man's life.
so
Literally, Pac-Man's just living in his house, and she's like, "Ghost, go get him."
Somebody's job was like they were paid a salary to make this game.
They earned
That
it.
blows my mind. Blows my mind.
Don't knock it till you try it, man.
This
It
does look like one of
looks-
those games that's like has a certain kind of charm to it. That's
Yes.
like it's gonna be in the bad game block of GDQ or something. Where
Yep.
it's like a terrible game, but terrible in such a way to make it super
Oh man,
interesting.
you guys, I spent hours playing this game, and there are more mini games within this. There are spots where you can get Pac-Man to ride a train cart, and then you have to tell him to go faster or slower. And then there's a part where you do parasailing. It's incredible. Incredible
so
mini
good.
games. Best of... I'm not going to say best of all time.
Did you ever beat this game?
I came very close. It's very... Like, it takes a while. Because you don't get to control Pac-Man. You can only tell him which direction to go. So it's kind of like Twitch plays Pac-Man.
Oh my gosh.
I mean...
Like, I think generally mini games are best when they are optional. When they're like, you can do this. Rewards are great.
You don't agree with that, though. Think
What?
about your best boss fight. One of your best boss fights is entirely QuickTime events against Krauser in Resident Evil 4.
Yes, absolutely. But like, so that's a weird. I don't right. Like we all have exceptions to our rules, right? Right. I'm not going to be jazzed if I'm playing Elden Ring and there's a QuickTime boss event.
Sure. Well, and do you think that's just fatigue at this point when the same minigame
Sure.
gets used over and over and over again? Right. I think that's, for me, I think of Resident
Yeah.
Evil 5 after that and how they just...
Everything was QuickTime
everything was
events, right?
QuickTime events, and Chris punched a boulder. Like,
Gosh, so stupid.
like,
Yeah. So like, I think like QuickTime events kind of had their heyday, right?
yeah, yeah.
And you can still definitely have a place for something like that. But yeah, I mean that age has passed. The age of men has passed.
Yeah, I don't know. So do you think, do QuickTime events need to be new things then? Do they need to be something different? Or do they
I mean, like
just need to be fun?
QuickTime events are just like on the screen that says push this button, and like, I mean, ultimately that's all video games are. Just like push a button at the right time.
Yeah, right.
So
Do mini games need to be something you haven't seen before? Obviously not, because we're talking about
No.
fishing for the 800th time, right? But what is it that makes a mini game acceptable and what makes it garbage?
Well, it's
Sure.
like
yeah,
I think it's minigames fit best when it makes sense for you to experience the game differently for what you're doing. So like
Yeah,
hacking
I like
makes
that.
perfect sense. I mean, the hacking game, I agree, was not the best hacking game, but it makes sense for there to be a hacking mini game when you walk up to the computer rather than you just kind of go up and push a button and
hit the button.
Done. It's
Cha-ching.
like it needs to have some sort of element of I'm doing something in order to unlock this thing. I'm facing a different kind of challenge. And I think QuickTime events can also fill that, but you almost have to match the feeling of what's going on in the game to the type of minigame you're playing. I like the lockpicking minigame in Skyrim because it's pretty quick, so you feel like you're skilled at it, and it's got some elements that make it feel like you're kind of like manipulating something small.
Yeah.
And, I think it does a good job of making the game match what you're doing in the game, or the minigame match what you're doing in the game.
Sure.
Like doing in real life.
Yeah.
What about did you guys play Fallout 3?
Yeah.
The computer hacking in Fallout 3, like the word puzzles?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I thought those were fun.
I agree.
I liked it because I felt like I was hacking.
Yeah.
I was connecting two random tubes.
That just was one that popped in my mind of like, oh yeah, like that was enjoyable. Frustrating when you failed it, but great.
Yeah, I think
Right, like I think Skyrim felt with lockpicking felt better because it was like, oh, the only time you're really punished is if you run out of lockpicks. But you can always try to pick this lock.
that's why you always quick save right before picking the lock, and then reload it once your last lockpick breaks. Yeah, I don't know. To me, all of these examples fit in with like building the world, right? To me, the best mini games are the ones that build the world further, right? Skyrim is not as cool. I mean, it's still pretty cool, but it's not as cool if like your lockpicking is just click a button and you used a lockpick, it's done, right?
Sure.
Right.
And they add that little challenge in there for you to feel like I am the master of unlocking. You know what I mean? Fallout, the hacking in that matches like these green typeface computers, right? Where you have to break the code, right? And so all of those add elements to the world that is created, right? And so I think to me, those are better than something like Mario Party, where the entire game is centered around here's a random mini game for you to play, right?
Sure.
It's just hard to compare those two things because Mario Party also doesn't really have a narrative.
And because Mario Party is super fun too.
It is really fun. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's great.
And then when you steal a star right at the end to win, and you've just wounded a friendship, maybe not mortally, but certainly permanently.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I don't know, Billy. Do you think in New Donk City, when you jump rope, that adds to the world of Mario Odyssey?
No, I just think it's fun.
Okay. So I
just get to jump rope as much as I want and compare myself to other people. Like, oh, this is what the leader has. Like, that's fun.
I think the two things that we're saying then are they need to be fun, one, and then two, potentially they add to the world that's created. Yeah. But it seems like two might not be a requirement.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think it's just when they do both of those things, that's a successful minigame.
That's a superb minigame.
Well, and
that it's not required or tedious, right? Like, I don't want to have to play this over and over and over and over and over again. Listen, I'm already grinding this game. Make me feel good. Make me feel like I'm good at something.
Yeah.
Let me just do this once and be like, oh, you got the high score. You're awesome. Go on with the rest of our game. Thank you, game. Yeah.
New record.
Awesome. Yeah. That's great.
Well, we've learned a lot about minigames tonight, I feel like.
I didn't.
I don't know. JRPGs have them because they just want to consume as much of your life as possible, and
that's true. JRPGs, I mean, that's really a staple of JRPGs. They're all over.
Yeah, it's what they are.
Yeah. Well, and I think they've gotten better at that. Again, we're talking about games that were in an era where that wasn't even a consideration. They didn't need to consider your time because you were a kid. And all games were to kids that had an infinite amount of time. I miss my childhood.
One game that we have been raving about, Elden Ring, has not a single minigame anywhere.
I was going to ask that question, right? We're still all playing this game,
Yeah.
dozens of hours in. And no, it's not really minigames. And it's great.
Not a single minigame.
But we've talked about like the purpose of minigames to an extent is to break up like what you are doing in the game, right? Like the sort of like modus operandus of the game.
Yeah.
And does Elden Ring not do that through, I don't know, like exploration?
Yeah.
Through like the world itself? Like, is it just that they've figured out how to make minigames so like seamlessly a part of the world? I don't
think I would call anything that they're doing a minigame, right?
Sure, and I wouldn't either.
I would
like,
say
have they
there's
just fooled
different.
us?
I would say there's different modes to play Elden Ring, right?
Sure.
I like when I need a break from trying to break my way through the castle, right? Oh, there's this cave over here that I haven't finished, right? Or there's this unexplored area of the map. I'll just go see what's over there, right?
But like, is that not right? Like, this doesn't need to turn into like our Elden Ring 2.0 episode. But is that not like more admirable than just like, hey, we've got our JRPG here you're going to play for 20 hours, but like we've sprinkled some mini games throughout to like help you get through it. Where it's like, no, Elden Ring, like you've got the game that you're playing, and like if you hit a wall or if you're frustrated, you just be like, no, I'm going to go do something else.
Well,
because I can't. Like, it's seamless. That's what I'm trying. I guess like that.
I think there's the potential, however, and I think it's hard for us to see because we all love Elden Ring so much. But I know other people who like very much get fatigued playing Elden Ring, right? Because it's like, oh, I died. Oh, I died. Oh, I died. Right. And if you're not okay with that, right? That's sometimes that crippling difficulty can itself just present that same gameplay cycle over and over and over again. So
and I think one thing Elden Ring does well is gives you a wide variety of things to do. And something else we didn't necessarily talk about that I'm curious your guys' thoughts on, but things like managing your loadout and building your character, I feel like are almost mini games in themselves. They're directly tied to the gameplay, but it's
that is a very big part of Divinity 2.
Too big, right?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I'm excited for that. Reminds me of like Baldur's Gate 3, where I'm excited for the full release on that because you don't have to worry about like, oh, is this item better than this item? Like, that's not. It's more about your character and experience. It's like Divinity 2. It's all about like, man, can I get the best item? Can I like, is this better than the other thing? You're just like
grinding it out.
30% of the game is managing your character and inventory.
Yeah, I think something that like I think we're kind of scratching this itch of like a minigame also has to be a clearly separate type of gameplay, right? Because I think everything we're talking about is like, yes, you can go right off in a different direction, right? But you're not really changing the game, right? You're not really doing anything that's different from the game, right? I think about like Borderlands, right? Borderlands gameplay cycle is go kill some stuff, pick up the loot, then go figure out what the best loot is, right? And then equip it, then repeat, right? I wouldn't consider that portion where you're equipping new loot, right, and figuring out what the best loot is. I wouldn't consider that to be a mini game within the game, right? It's just part of its normal gameplay cycle. So I think a minigame definitely clearly has to be distinct, right? So games like Elden Ring, games like Borderlands, where you can intentionally break up the gameplay cycle on your own to have fun, right? And the minigames don't do it, like aren't there to do it for you, right? So maybe that's what you're saying, Billy, is JRPGs, you're saying JRPGs are lesser because they have to resort to forcing a minigame in there to break up your gameplay cycle.
No, I mean, I think they're lesser not because they have to, but because they choose to. That like you could do this game in like this could be a 40-hour game, but instead you bloat it with minigames because of some weird like I don't know what JRPG started the trend, but may its developers That's too strong. Maybe it's developers just have a bad day.
Wow. I will throw out
because every JRPG does that now, where it's like, oh, we have 50 hours of narrative, but we're gonna bloat this game up to like 70 hours with like side quests,
sure,
and like mini games.
I feel like we've fleshed out what makes good and bad mini games at this point. Do you guys have any games that we didn't mention that you can think of that are good or bad?
Well, I feel like we can't have a full minigame episode without talking about Neopets.
I think we can. I think we can.
I think I can.
No, I don't think so.
I could do 2 of them.
I think we could do 3 full seasons of 3-play podcasts without ever bringing up Neopets.
No,
Brean, if you need to close out our episode, listen, Brean, I know Neopets is dear to your heart, so I don't want this to be something that you like is tacked onto it. Like, if you want to do a full Neopets themed episode, I am willing to engage that with you, because I know you love it, and I don't want you to like it to just be a tack on at the end of this episode.
I appreciate that, but I also understand neither of you are interested in that, so it's fine being a tack on.
I'll do it for a whole hour.
Okay.
I will talk about Neopets for an hour.
Okay. Come to me with your Neopets questions.
And I only say that because we're at like an hour of recording
right
now.
Right.
We can do a short of Brian's top 5 Neopets.
Yeah, so if you want to like give us a preview of our Neopets episode.
Sure. Our Neopets episode is we all go adopt Neopets from neopet.com, and then we
Is it still active?
Yes.
I feel like I hear Neopets and I'm like, this is some 90s Flash.
Yes.
How's it still working then?
Well, they have since changed most of it over from Flash.
Oh my!
I mean, there's still tons of controversy around that because it's
it's controversy.
Okay, think about this.
We're definitely doing a whole episode on this.
Yeah,
we're
we doing a Neopets I have nothing to bring to the table on this.
That doesn't matter. Like, Brian will carry us and we will comment. Like, that's it.
Yep. Ask questions and I'll make you do a couple of things in Neopets so you can experience it.
Oh,
yes, man. I want this so much.
Okay,
all right.
We'll do that. And that's our episode.
Persona 5.
Really good
that's
right. Yeah, that's right.
Really good. Really good minigames.
Okay.
Really good minigames. You can play. You can go to the batting cages. Which Billy's like, just go to a batting cage.
Just go to a batting cage.
Why don't you just go to the batting cages?
Let's go tomorrow. I have the day off.
But there's just like a whole
pick an actual lock.
Yeah, right. There's a whole bunch of like little mini games in Persona 5 that make the game fun and again make the world feel alive.
Sure. Breath of the Wild has tons of really lovely mini games. I think of the one where you like push a big snowball down the mountain to like knock over some bowling pins. Like, that's fun. I can go bowling. I can't go bowling with giant snowballs down like a mountain. So
the guy who's charging you money to set those pins back up and then rewards you with a prize for knocking them all down in a single throw, that makes it a mini game. The entrance fee.
This is worth something now because I had to pay for it.
Pay fake digital currency.
Maybe we should charge entry to listen to 3-Play podcasts.
Not yet. We'll get a Patreon going once we're back up to above 13.
There we go. And then if you want to listen to the intro game that we play at the beginning, you have to pay.
DLC.
You have to be a tier 1 subscriber.
Except I feel like that's the only thing that people listen to.
Well...
So it goes. Thanks for listening and or watching. Comment on whatever medium you're interacting with. You can tweet at us at 3playcast. Please give us some sort of communication so we know we aren't just screaming into the endless void.